Hi everybody, this is Saphirre, your favorite French Canadian. Today I'm gonna do an optimization guide on Madden NFL 23. So we're gonna start with Windows, and after that we're gonna look the parameter inside of the game. So now the best setting for Windows for gaming. So first of all, we're gonna search for game mode in the search bar. Make sure that game mode is activated for the past year. It's pretty good. You're getting a decent performance, and you're gonna make sure that all your resources are focused on the game that you're playing. For the Xbox game bar, I still recommend to deactivate this one, causing stuttering, crashing in some games. So I'm not a huge fan of the Xbox game bar. And for the capture, make sure that the background recording is at off, and also the recorded audio is at off. Another thing that I recommend, it's the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Make sure that you're searching for graphics setting. You will need an NVIDIA card, 1000 series or more recent. It will really help with bottlenecks. So if you have a 1050, 1050 Ti, 1060, even the 2060, you can expect a nice 2 to 5% boost. And also you can expect less stuttering when you're using that. So I really recommend to use that. Another thing that is really important, it's your driver. Make sure that you have the latest driver from AMD, NVIDIA, even Intel if you have an iGPU on your processor. So for an example here with AMD, you just click check for update and it's gonna show you if you have the latest one. You can do the same thing with NVIDIA. Another thing that I can recommend with the NVIDIA and AMD, they have an image scaling for the past a couple of months. From AMD, it's called Super Resolution, and for NVIDIA, it's NIS. I have dedicated video who's gonna show you how to use that and how to configure it. But to explain you quickly what it's about, so you need to enable this. So for example, I'm playing in 2K because my monitor is in 2K. I'm going inside of my game. I lower the resolution at 1080p, and the software will scale it back at 2K. And with this process, I can save 15-20% in my FPS. Also, you can do it if you have a 4K monitor and you want to do 1080p or 2K. You can expect a nice boost. The image quality will not be the same if you compare with native, but in some game it's working very well, and it's very tough to see the difference. So I recommend to use it if you're struggling with your FPS. Another thing that I recommend, it's your energy profile. So write energy in your search bar, go to power option. Make sure that you're running something like balance or high performance. On a desktop computer, it should not be an issue, but if you're playing on a laptop, really make sure that you're using that or a special profile for performance from your brand like Asus, Dell, or whatever. The thing is, sometimes when you plug your PC in the wall, unplug, using it with the battery, sometimes it stay at power saver and you don't want to use that when you're playing a game. So super important to be plugged in and also to use a proper performance profile. Another thing that I can recommend, it's the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. This is a software made by the guy from DDU. It's pretty amazing, honestly. It will help if you don't have a lot of RAM in your PC. So if you have 4 gig of RAM, 8 gig, 12 gig, after that, you should be fine. Windows is doing the job properly. So it will free memory, and it's gonna make sure that it optimizes your standby list. So what I recommend normally, it's look at your total memory. Here in my case, it's 32. Just divide it by 2. So for me, it's 16. Just press start and it will run automatically, and you just lower the software like that, and you're gonna make sure it's optimized. So it's a really good software, and also it helps a little bit with stuttering, so I really recommend to use that. One last thing is I have dedicated video on my channel about overclocking CPU, overclocking GPU, depending on your brand and stuff. And it's pretty good because there are basic overclocking guide. I don't touch voltage, so it's pretty safe. You can expect sometimes 2%, 10% boost in your FPS depending on your thermal, depending on your component. But it's something that you need to look at too if you want to optimize your PC for the best performance. So now let's go inside of the game. So now inside of the game, full screen resolution, I recommend to just go with your native resolution on your monitor. So if you have a 2K monitor, go with 2K. If you have a 1080p monitor, go with 1080p. For window mode, super important to use full screen. Don't use anything else. It's causing stuttering in this game, so super important, this one. After that, anti-aliasing, you have a couple of options. I'm not a huge fan of anti-aliasing. I feel like the game is a lot blurry when I use that. So I'm removing it. You're getting a nice 6% boost in your FPS. But I know some people don't like aliasing in a game. I recommend to use the basic one, the FXAA. I'm not a huge fan of the MSAA 2X or 4X. The game looks blurry and you will lose more FPS. So if you really need anti-aliasing, go with FXAA. For the frame rate, you have 3 options. You can lock it at 30, 60, or unlimited. Me, I'll just go with no limit. If you're playing for sure on a laptop and you have a 60 Hz monitor, just go with something like 60. You don't want to add like more issue with thermals in your computer and getting some random stuttering. So it really depends on what kind of like computer that you're using. For V-Sync, I recommend to go with off if you have FreeSync or G-Sync technology on your monitor. If you don't have that and you have a lot of tearing when you're playing the game, I recommend to go on and add the triple buffering. It will add input lag in your game, but honestly, you're not playing Valorant or like Counter-Strike, so it's not a huge deal. So if you have this issue, just do that. For the DirectX version, you have a couple of options here. As you can see, you have 11 and 12. If you have like a GPU that you bought for the past like 3 years, so I don't know, like 1000 series, 2000 series, or 3000 series from NVIDIA, no issue, go with DirectX 12, it will be better. But if you're playing on old card that when they went out, they were compatible just like to DirectX 11, DirectX 12 was not like available, just go with DirectX 11, it will be better for you. I did a test on my old GTX 970 and it was a lot better on DirectX 11. For rendered quality, if you have, again, a decent computer, mid-range, or something like that, 3D Grass should not be a problem to run, but if you're playing on an old computer, put this one at off, it will give you a nice 4% boost in your FPS, so it really depends on what kind of computer that you're using when you play this game. Bloom, just put this one at off, you don't want to use that in Madden. Ambient occlusion, this will give you a nice amount of FPS. If I compare on to off, you have like a 7% difference in your FPS, but I know a lot of people don't like to remove ambient occlusion because the game looks flat. So it really depends. Do you care or you just want pure performance? So just select what you want, but if you deactivate it, you will get a nice 7% boost in your FPS. Depth fog and lens flare, put those one at off, you will have another 5% boost in your FPS. And after that, mesh quality. Honestly, you have 4 different brackets. Don't use Ultra and high, you're losing a lot of FPS, but I didn't see a big difference between low and medium, like 1%, so you can definitely go with medium. Shadow quality, this is the parameter that will provide you the most of FPS. If I compare Ultra to low, I see a difference of 14% in my FPS, so definitely this one should be your main. Just start with Shadow, put it at low and look at your FPS. And crowd quality, Ultra and high is taking a lot of resources, but medium and low, 2% difference, so it's not huge. If you want like a decent image quality, I recommend your quality at medium. But again, if you're playing on an old computer, entry-level computer, or like an high GPU, go with low with crowd quality. It will tank your FPS. So this is pretty much it, guys, for my Madden 2023 guide. If you have any question, just comment in the YouTube section, post me your rig, CPU, GPU, and RAM. I will try to help you the best that I can, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.